What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bull_Peck, Big Dave, BAM, BAWL Sports, Will the Go Gottlieb, Perfectly Guapped, Will_Gottlieb, our pal and producer, the one and only Young Spathis on the controls. He's at Joey Spathis. Another big show on deck today. We roll through our Prove It segments, our player profiles, and our Eastern Conference team profiles with Coby White.
I've heard of him.
And the New York Knickerbockers.
Heard of them too.
Who finished second place in the East this past season.
Not bad.
Good for them.
Congratulations.
Little 50-win team for Mr. Tom Thibodeau.
He loves those.
Before we dive into all that, wanted to give a quick plug and a shout out to our newest NBA friends in the ALLCITY network, DLLS. Mm-hmm. Not sure if you saw on Twitter today, but they had a guest. And if you're a Mavs fan, shout out Sabine.
Yes.
It is the guest of all guests. The first ever guest on DLLS Mavs, Dirk. Today's episode.
Can't compete with
Dirk.
Shinsky.
I mean, my God. Go. I haven't listened to it yet because I've been busy so far today. But, I mean, shout out to the DLLS crew for getting that. Mark Stein promoting it earlier this morning.
Top 5 favorite player.
Oh, my God. Because, I feel like Dirk interviews are so infrequent.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those NBA players who, he retired and he's like, all right, I'm just going to hide and do my thing. Mm-hmm. So awesome that they got him. Can't wait to watch it.
Very excited. I mean, like I said, top 5 favorite player all time. And, I mean, that's just huge.
Huge.
Dirk on there.
And we'll always love him.
For you? In terms of favorites? Or in terms okay.
Favorite player.
And, the closest Bulls fans, we as Bulls fans have sniffed to a title since the dynasty ended was that conference finals appearance in 2011.
Yes.
Which, of course, Dirk we all know the scars are still very,
Wait, hold on. Hakeem, Jordan, Dirk, Barkley, Jason Kidd.
Correct.
I mean, watching the Bulls battle and come up short after winning game 1 and then losing in 5 to the Heatles in 2011. Yeah. My admiration and appreciation for Dirk grew well beyond what it already was.
Yeah. Because
the Mavs just spanked the Heat in those finals when everyone was like, oh, yeah, the Heat are winning this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a great moment for me because I was always very, very hard on that dude.
Yeah.
All the time. He scored 25. I'm like, you should have had 40. You know what I mean? Yeah. 10 rebounds, should have had 20. I was very hard on Dirk because I knew what was there. Hey, Julia. I saw that potential every time he go out there and play. And I knew he could be great. And just watching it click for him, you would see bits and pieces of it, like that 50-point game he had in this game 3 against the Suns.
Yeah.
He dropped 50, almost shed a tear. But when I watched it click for him in that finals, actually that whole playoffs, it clicked.
Right.
But that finals, man, that was the dude I knew that was that dude. He was like, I don't care who you putting on this for. I'm better than everybody you got.
Incredible.
It was the best.
And a team with such well-built role players around him.
Yeah.
Complimentary co-stars. Bulls legend Tyson Chandler.
Yes.
Huge piece of that, title-winning team for Dirk and the Mavs in 2011.
Do you remember, and you would appreciate this, do you remember when D. Wade and LeBron James were making fun of Dirk?
Oh, yeah.
Because he was sick.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing all that, and Dirk came out and bust their ass.
Beat him.
Immediately.
Beat him real good.
Oh, man, that was great. I was so proud of him.
And that was I don't know, we talked about this with the Celtics over the summer and ahead of the playoffs. That was Dirk's, 12th year in the league? And I think that a lot of times it takes a title to really appreciate someone's individual greatness, even if they were already great before that.
Yeah.
Where it's we know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really good players, but now that they've earned that title, they get that extra level of appreciation. And for Dirk, it was that one, and then the quality of that, beating LeBron, beating the Heatles.
Yeah.
When they just looked so dominant.
Yeah.
Would you guys say that the Dirk step back, the Dirk one-legged step back, it's the silhouette of it is on the Mavericks court now.
Yeah.
second most unguardable shot of an NBA player behind Kareem's skyhook?
No. Jordan's fadeaway. Unguardable.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I was just tossing it out there.
It's on the like Mount Rushmore of most iconic like signature moves.
It's
right?
number 3 for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, 2 is Jordan, but it's definitely number 3 for me.
But like when you think of like iconic signature moves, it's like
it's Kareem Skyhook, the Dream Shake, MJ's fadeaway,
fadeaway, Dirk fadeaway,
Dirk step back.
Steph Curry.
I refuse to, count James Harden's because it's when the league gave up on trying to call travels, and he travels like 8 steps before his triple step back.
To including the side step, but that
changed the game, bro.
That comes from a biased place.
Let it come from that place then, Will, because I'm with you.
That's
unguardable.
Shout out Maddie, shout out Rob, Gio, Julia, everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Rob saying, Coach Tibbs opening up a barbecue spot, Tibbs' Ribs, or just Tibbs' Ribs, the slogan, we do our job. Is that a joke or is this a real thing that's happening? Because I would love to go eat some ribs at Tibbs' Ribs.
Sit down, eat, enjoy, then leave.
Yeah, get out.
Get out.
Know your role.
Next customer.
Tibbs opened a restaurant. It would be all about turnover.
That's it, man.
All about turnover.
Forcing turnover.
What else are you saying at Ribs?
Also, his line cooks working 24-hour shifts. 24-hour. We never close. And each chef does a 24-hour shift. And then they get to go home, and then they do another 24-hour shift.
If you want to cook, we'll cook. You want to work, you'll work. Ribs, stay up. Stay up on the grill. Stay up on the grill.
Ice those ribs. Ice those ribs.
Ice in the cup. Ice.
Okay, well, this is my newest obsession. We need to convince Tibbs to do this.
This is the best.
Okay, guys, so let's dive in. Coming up next in our Prove It player profiles for the upcoming Bulls season, we were talking about the guy who was just a few votes shy of Most Improved Player award last season, the one and only Sub-Zero himself, Alec Coby White.
That's him.
And as we did with Zach yesterday, and go and give that episode a watch or a listen if you didn't do that yet, let's take a quick look back at what our Prove It goals for Coby were coming into this past season and whether or not he achieved them. Because, man, did he have himself a season.
He had a season, baby.
I asked him to do what I just asked Zach to do this upcoming season, shoot 40% from 3.
Okay.
Which for all of the crazy Coby gets hot games we've seen in his career, coming into this past season, he had yet to have a 40% shooting season behind the 3-point line.
Okay.
He came up a bit short, 37.6% on the season. Crazy hot streak, did have one of those classic Coby cold streaks in there. I'm not going to shake my head and be mad that he fell a couple points shy of that.
No, you shouldn't be. Like, that's amazing what he did. And then to do it on the attempts like that he did. Because usually it was like 4.
Right.
Be his most attempts. He was 7 attempts a game.
7 attempts a game.
Awesome, man. So, no,
bumped up from 4.5 the season prior.
Yeah, I'm with you.
When you look at it in terms of, like, the difficulty of those shots, how he's getting those shots, I think if you're talking about Coby's role on the previous team where it was a lot of catch and shoot, a lot of, like, moving off the ball stuff, and not as much off the dribble, 40% would have been like a good target. But for me, with the like degree of difficulty and the amount of like offensive burden that he had to take on, 37.5% is very strong.
Very strong.
Dave, you asked Coby to average 3.2 assists per game.
Okay.
This past season. In case we all forgot,
please.
Coby dished out 5.1 APG this season, shattering the goal that you set for him.
Damn right he did.
3.2 is all you thought of him?
That's all. I mean,
come on, Dave.
It was dependent, man, on health. What did he play? He played 79 games? I think he started like
79. Started 78 of them.
Yeah, man.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, no, I know.
And it was at 2.8 the season prior. So you were just asking him to bump it up a little bit,
within
like
that
half
role.
a point within that role.
Correct. I didn't know the role he would have. Remember, the debate was still going.
Right.
Who should start?
Yep.
And who should be the starting point guard for the team? So but 3.2. I thought he could get it, and he definitely got it, and he shattered it.
And speaking of unsure of what Coby's role would be, that goes right into what the GOAT's goal for Coby was this past season. You wanted to see him get 28 minutes per game out there.
Yep.
Define the role, really, firm himself in as one of Billy's go-to guys. The season prior, he had was 23.4 minutes per game. So you're asking him to get, 4 more minutes than that. And just like Dave's, he shattered that goal you set for him. And I mean, doing so with leading the league along there with DeMar in total minutes played. He averaged 36.5 minutes last season.
And the goal with that was, I want you to prove that you belong in a bigger role with this team.
Right.
And that is what he really accomplished. He proved that he belonged in a bigger role with this team.
Yes.
And not only was it like a 28-minute a game, 6-man type of thing, it was, okay, actually now I'm the starting point guard and Billy's going to just give me as many minutes as I can handle because he trusts me the most, because we need that. That's what the team is asking of me. Mm-hmm. That's what is required for us to attempt to accomplish the goals that we're after. And so, yeah, he blew that out of the water. I
mean, yeah, he achieved a lot of various goals, whether they be set by himself or by the Bulls fans who wanted to see a big year from Coby. He delivered. Gio in the comments said Coby was unofficially the most improved player of the year in 23-24. I mean, really, I can't remember the exact number of votes he lost to Tyrese Maxey by, but it was razor thin.
Yeah, it was close.
And you're talking about a guy who nearly increased his points per game by 10. He went from 9.7 to 19.1. I noticed that he also nearly not only doubled his assists per game as Dave wanted, he almost doubled his free throw attempt rate while also shooting a very respectable percentage at the line. Also, something that I was asking from him in our Prove It 2 years ago was keeping or raising his frequency of attempts at the rim and maintaining efficiency on those attempts.
Okay.
Last season, so 2 seasons ago, 20% of his total field goal attempts came from 0 to 3 feet. This past season, he increased that all the way to 25%.
Yeah, beautiful.
And still a very efficient finishing mark in the mid 60% on those looks from 0 to 3 feet. So, I mean, Coby just exploded his stats all over the place.
And I know we've talked about it before, but just it's worth reiterating. Like, to me, what Coby did is what MIP should be about. It's about not just like showing that you're already a good player and you can get better with a bigger role. It's not that like you're going to go into your 4th year and really take a leap. It's like a guy who was coming off the bench, who was not really a part of the team's future to where they gave him a contract barely above the mid-level exception, and going from that to a starting point guard, a driver of the offense, somebody that, as I mentioned before, the head coach had to ride because he was the only one he could trust. And so to go from, 9.5 points per game to 19.5, to go from basically being on the fringes of the rotation to a locked-in starter who was a huge part of what this team was doing. To me, that's what most improved should signify. I know Maxey made a huge leap, but to me, like, in terms of Maxey, to me was like, he was already good and he got as good as he could have been.
Exactly.
Coby, it was like he reached a different level that we didn't know he had in his 5th year in the league. So he really obviously just like improved to a point where he changed his career outlook, I think, in a lot of ways. And that really matters.
No, we talked about that a lot here. Just as far as kind of the award for me is always just a guy that nobody's really looking at or didn't expect much from, and then they come out and they're like, whoa, they just really improved and did a lot of things. Lowry is a great example of that, to be from a guy who couldn't find a place in the NBA to being an all-star starter, you know what I mean? And leading your team as he did. Coby did it also where things on the floor weren't certain for a lot of Bulls players. Like DeMar and Vooch were the only certainties to be on the floor. Zach dealing with injuries, Patrick Williams being out. Like, they needed it from somewhere and from someone. And the consistency of Coby White, and also just big credit to Johnny Dribble Too Much as well.
Oh, man.
Because I think that's another big reason that increased in the paint scoring for Coby White, because his handles just got way better.
Every time you see one of those fresh videos coming around on Instagram, and shout out to our friend C-Red UK, they put a lot of them over on Twitter, because that's where I'm always looking for my stuff, less so Insta. But like, I almost feel bad for Coby White's friends and family, because it feels like he spent his entire offseason with Coach Dribble Too Much. Like, because it's just it looks like he's always in the gym working on his handles.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the credit goes to him, right? It's his work that he put in. He sought out his trainers. He put in the work to change who he was as a basketball player. And, I was sitting here arguing a year ago that the Bulls should start Javon Carter over Coby. So that's obviously that was wrong for many reasons, but that's the kind of jump that he made to where it was like, actually, no, he's the obvious best person for that job.
even though I always believed he was.
Yeah.
Just throwing tossed.
All right. So what are our goals for Coby this season? That's what we're talking about on the other side of this quick break right here on CHGO Bulls. Wow. Today's show brought to you by who else? Delicious Coors Light. Between work, social media, and the choices life throws our way, it's no wonder we can get a little worked up sometimes.
A little bit.
I had a little freak out watching the Bears game this past Sunday.
So unlike you.
You know, I was stressed out. That first half wasn't going great.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Take a few deep breaths. Choose a chill mindset. This game is not over. So I need to bring it down a little bit. I'm going to chill. And then the very next thing I did, reach for an icy cold Coors Light. Why not turn Rained Out Barbecue into the 2 millionth annual Will to Go Golly karaoke house party? Or after a tough loss, settle the score with an ice-cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill, and then the very next thing you do is reach for an icy-cold Coors Light. When the mountains turn blue, hello! You know the beer inside is as cold as the Colorado Rockies themselves. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. When you embrace a chill mindset, that's a great time to reach for a Coors Light. Make the most of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light, and you can get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Yes, very good. Joey Spathis, what time is it?
Get time.
That man is always prepared and on it. I enjoy it. Game time, y'all. Game time. I love them. I talk about them all the time. Why? Because you go in there and you can save money at the very last minute. You can do that with Game Time, y'all. And Game Time, guess what? It's got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live event easier than ever. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff, the kerfluffle that's going on.
The kerfluffle.
The woosies, the wazies. To show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. That is absolutely awesome and amazing. They got curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats. They got the super deal. They got the seat views, which you know me and Matt love, and Will says he loves it as well. You got to have it. And, of course, that low price guarantee, the event cancellation protection, and even job loss protection. You can still go enjoy yourself even though you lost the gig. Game Time will look out for you, man. That's a beautiful thing. Game Time Picks, y'all. The curation makes it easy to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. Any event, save more money on with the Game Time Picks. That all-in pricing, y'all. Toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise at checkout. Don't you hate that? The surprise checkout fees? I don't like it.
Hate them.
Can't stand it.
Can't stand them. Can't coach with them.
Can't touch with them. Game Time ticket coverage, y'all. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So why don't you go ahead and take that guesswork out of buying tickets and get some Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Terms apply. That's CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. $20 off is what you're going to save. Because, man, Pat, what time is it? Get out.
My God.
That was so dope because it was in unison. It was the choir going on. That was pretty cool.
That's right.
I like that.
Dave has his own backup chorus.
Yeah, we got to talk wardrobe next time, guys.
That's right.
You know, thinking blue suits, bow ties.
Blue suits.
Yeah, blue
We're talking
suits.
Powder blue, navy blue.
Powder blue.
I don't know if I can pull off navy blue. I mean, powder blue.
No, powder blue tuxes.
Okay.
Is how we're going to roll with the bow tie.
If we're doing powder blue, can we throw like a bright, like popsicle orange in there too and just go full Harry and Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber?
You know, for you, Matt, yes. Absolutely.
With the matching, frilly cummerbund thing?
Yes. I wear the bright orange one.
Yes, okay.
Okay, we'll do it like that. I'll wear the
it.
bright orange. I got you.
I love it. All right, we are talking Coby White prove-it goals for the 24-25 NBA season. Eco being our guy, shout out. In the comments, wants to see Coby make the All-Star team in 2025. Gio adding, if Kobe's nominated as an All-Star in 25, he's turned into a very consistent player in the league as he's already got the IQ and skill set. So where do we begin? Do we begin with my prove it for Coby? Let's do it. Okay. Similarly to Zach, I went with a two-parter. And for Coby, it is asking him to just cross for the first time in his career that 20 points per game threshold.
Yeah.
He was real close. He was at 19.1 last season, right? So keep doing what you're doing. Just have your first 20 points per game season. And I'm asking for a pretty significant bump in his true shooting percentage. So we're talking, 2-point field goals, 3-point field goals, and the free throw line. He was at .70 last season. Very respectable.
For true shooting?
For true shooting. He actually was at .72. I'm sorry.
57.
Thank you.
57.
Numbers are hard.
70 would have been like...
Right.
So Will said what?
Numbers are hard.
So Wazzy.
Yes.
Willsy.
So he was at .570 last season. He was at .572 the season prior to that. .564 the season before that. So he's all been in like the high, 56, 57% the last few seasons. Keep your scoring up, bring it up a little bit, and do it with the best true shooting percentage of your career. Hit that 60 true shooting percentage mark for the first time. I would be ecstatic if Coby did that.
That honestly was going to be something I was going to put for mine, was the points. Definitely want to see him finally get to that 20 points a game threshold. I think that's just the next logical step in his progression. If you're going to be that dude, well, that dude has got to get 20 points a game and not do it on terrible shooting numbers like that. I believe the highest field goal percentage he has is 47, and I think that was last year, if I'm not mistaken on that.
He was 44.7% from the field last season.
I got numbers are hard.
But that was his that was his best overall field goal percentage of his career.
Okay, yeah. So if you're going to be around that, you're right. That true shooting has to be a little hotter than that because he's a jump shooter. But I believe that improved because, like you stated earlier, he was going inside, getting those buckets as well. So, yeah, I think 20 points a game. I'm with you.
Yeah, my prove it. I don't know if we
Should
is that
we go?
yours or are you?
No. We'll go to mine. That's not mine. Not my prove it.
Okay.
My prove it is basically what the people were saying in the chat. All-Star Weekend.
Ooh.
And when I say All-Star Weekend, I mean in any capacity of the All-Star Weekend festivities.
So he could be like 3-point contests.
Yes.
Skills competition.
Yes, man. Any capacity of the All-Star Week, even if it's an All-Star, I need Coby White to be in it. Because if you're going to be plus 20, if you're going to have your shooting percentage at that level, let's say your 3-point percentage goes up. Let's say he touches and flirts with that 40.
Yeah.
If you're going to be hitting those numbers like that, I'm going to need him to be there because that means the league is recognizing and respecting you. And you're on the radar now.
Yeah.
Because you were being talked about on national media from a lot of these guys, and they were choosing you to be most improved player. Yeah. And rightfully so.
And coming into this season, like we talked about the ESPN, coaches and scouts and execs poll that I think Bontemps did at Summer League, who's going to be, front runner for this award. Coby White got the second most votes behind Wemby for winning most improved player this year. So people are still looking at Coby.
And Wemby should not be on that list. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But yes, man. Like, you're still looking at Coby. He's still on your mind and still on your brain and your mind too. So those are awesome things. And I think to get to that, he's got to be rewarded. And that means he's playing well and dominating for this team. And they need a guy. I mean, DeMar's not here anymore. They're going to need it. If you're saying Zach's the guy, fine. Still needs a guy. You know what I mean? You got to have that dude to do it. He showed he can be that number 2 now. Now let's see if he can fringe it. You know what I mean? Maybe a 1A or 1B. We'll see what he can do with that because we don't know what's going to happen with Zach. But I'm ready for him to take over, man, and I want the league to recognize it.
And I think when you talk about, obviously, the All-Star game itself, you're talking about winning basketball games too. So it's not just put up a ton of big numbers. It's like contribute to winning, affect winning.
Yeah.
And I think that, obviously the Bulls are not aiming to win a lot of games next year, but as we talked about yesterday, you can also be a productive member of a team and still put up big numbers.
Yeah, we just talked about Lowry when he was an All-Star. Like, they were winning-ish kind of team. And then, they kind of bottomed out because they sit down.
Bottomed out.
And I think expectations have a lot to do with that too. The Bulls are expected to win, according to Vegas, 27.5 games this year. So if they're on pace for more than that and Kobe's looking great, then that, I think, should have an impact there.
Yeah, I agree.
Andrew in the comments chiming in. I'm with you on the 20 points per game thing. But part of the season after Zach is traded, if his overall PPG are down a little, I can live with that. So speaking of that, like when you're talking about getting that representation at All-Star Weekend, All-Star Weekend comes on the heels of the trade deadline.
Yes.
Let's say hypothetically, the Bulls find themselves a a partner in a Zach LaVine trade. Maybe because Zach LaVine plays really well in October through January. Knock on freaking wood. In that case, the most likely way that the Bulls get some representation at All-Star Weekend, right now, all of those arrows point to Coby White as opposed to any of his other teammates, right?
That's a great point. He's the guy that's most talked about positively on this team. He's the guy that's looked at the most positively on this team outside of Modest Zealous getting that Paul George shout out to him.
Well, so that's and maybe Modest is in the Rising Stars Challenge game.
Correct. Oh, he's gonna be there.
Yeah,
I've already know. Like in my head, he's there.
He's there.
He's there. You're not gonna keep him off that floor. He will play for that. So I would like somebody else to represent with him, and I would love for that to be Coby White. For me, I want it to be the 3-point contest. That's what I want to see him in, because for that, it has replaced the dunk contest. That is the show now, is watching the 3-point contest. So putting Coby White on that level in the show with guys like Steph Curry and all these other great shooters, that's just going to be fun to see, man, and just hear them talk about him, why he's taking these shots, and hopefully, he gets that win. But that's what I want for him, is that 3-point contest for sure.
Love it.
So technicality, but for him to say, prove it, I did it, Big Dave. You said you wanted to see him participate in some way in All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
What if one of his teammates, like Modest, is like, yeah, I'll do the dunk contest, and he's like the teammate that Modest uses to throw him a lob? Does that not count?
No, that does not count.
He has got to be the active participant.
He has to be active
in some way.
Correct. But here's the thing, Matt.
Because everybody descends upon All-Star Weekend.
Sure, but here's my thinking. If Coby White's showing up to All-Star Weekend, he's showing up to do something. He's going to play.
Right.
He's not going to show up to toss up, hey, alley-oops to Modest, and then, going about his business. He'll get Patrick Williams.
Right.
Patrick Williams seems like it. But Kobe's like, nah, I'd rather go on vacation.
Andrew in the comments saying skills contest, he's got him. And that kind of goes back to what we were just saying with, Coach Johnny Drill too much a few minutes ago. If Kobe's, flashing those kind of handles through the first couple months of the season and have some of those, jaw-dropping finishes at the rim we saw from him last year, maybe he gets an invite to do the skills competition.
I'm for it. I'm with it, and I'm all for that, man. So, any capacity of the All-Star Weekend, I want him in. Personally, 3-point contest, but any capacity, I'm with it.
I feel like last year, that was a bit of a conversation leading into the All-Star break. And if I recall, the feeling from him was I've just changed my role so much. I've doubled my minutes. I'm exhausted. And obviously if they invited me, I would be happy to go and perform. But also I think he valued that time to take a break. And so I think what else that would signify is if he did that was just, and I'm not saying he was in poor conditioning. I don't think that was true at all. But that was the storyline for him, was getting himself into game shape to be able to take on the load of 36 minutes a night for 80 games. And so I think if he's going out to, I believe it's in San Francisco this year, to All-Star Weekend to do something like that, I think it'll tell you also that he is just in better conditioning, better shape. He's managing the, physical burden and emotional burden and mental burden of being, a starter who plays 36 minutes for 80 plus games.
Right. All right, go. What's your goal for Coby this year?
Mine was similar to yours, Matt, but a little bit lower. It was actually 24% usage.
I was going to say 54 usage percentage.
Pretty high.
My goodness.
24% usage.
Rockets Harden wasn't even close to sniffing that.
James Harden started licking his lips when he said that. 54.
So 24 usage and 58 true shooting. So a similar thing to Matt, but basically my thinking here was, last year Kobe's usage was 22 something.
22.7.
22.7. That was the highest of his career since his rookie season, when he was running around doing whatever he wanted because the Bulls were
on the Trashables
in 2019. So 22.7 is slightly above average. If 20 is average, that's good usage. But I think this year he's got an opportunity to have the ball in his hands a little bit more. And typically what happens is when you scale up your usage, your efficiency goes down. And so I want to see him scale up that usage. He's got more opportunity with DeRozan now out of town. Obviously, Giddey's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Zach is going to be back. It's not like a given that he's going to be a 30% usage guy. But I want to see him up that usage while improving the efficiency. And the reason I chose 58 is last year, league average true shooting percentage was 57.5. So I want to just see him get above average in that. He doesn't have to be, and when you wrote 60, Matt, it made me think of Zach and how underappreciated his scoring was.
Exactly. That's why I put it at 60.
Flex.
He has been 60 true shooting for the last 4 years the last 3 years, except for last one. So in 22-23, 60% usage. Year before that, 60%. So we can talk more about it after the break, but just speaks to his efficiency there.
I like it. We'll finish up this Coby White Prove It after this. Who do we got? Oh, that's right. Our good friends at Circus Sports. I love Circus Sportsbook, y'all. And guess what? Football season has arrived. I don't know about you guys, but as much as I love betting on NBA games, I think NFL football is my favorite thing to bet on.
I agree.
I like doing a little dabbling in college. Yeah. You know, maybe Joey's Longhorns. Who's their matchup this week, Joe?
Oh, trash.
The University of Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm actually following
Roadrunners.
Take the Longhorns to cover whatever that line is.
Hook them.
Whether it's pro or college sports and college football that you like betting on, the app to bet those football games is Circus Sports Illinois. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and, of course, that exceptional customer service. Death to the chatbots. But all you got to do is bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season at Circus Sportsbook. Spreads, props, futures, in-game bets. We all love that in football season.
Facts.
Little live line. Goat said he did it on the Bears. Their second half comeback.
Bears.
1-0. You could have been smart like Goat and made some of those in-game bets at Circa. Because Circa has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fogo!
Lolo?
Get fitted out in the best sports gear around. Where you do that at? You do that at Fogo. They got the hoodies. They got the shoes. They got the signs. They got the bobbleheads and everything in betwixt. Are you going to a basketball game? Are you going to a hockey game? Guess what? Season's around the corner, y'all. You can show off your love with team-branded friendship bracelets, whether it's jackets, beachwear even, or the overalls. There's something for every fan for almost every single occasion. And, of course, they hook us up with the sec decoraciones. It's not a word. But shout out to them for the awesome pieces that they donate to the set. And so since they show us love, we will appreciate if you show them some as well, because they got awesome things. Check out foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO10 and get your beautiful self 10% off, because it's Foco. Faux show.
Faux show. Okay, so continuing on where we left off, Go, you were talking about your goals for Coby, which is increasing his usage to 24%, bumping that a couple points, while also, maintaining and increasing the efficiency on those looks.
Yeah, and again, just going back to Zach for a second here, Zach averaged 61.5% true shooting for 3 straight years when he averaged over 23 points per game. So I think it goes to show you that as good as Coby has been, he's still not at that level that Zach was when he was at his best. And obviously we don't know if Zach can continue on that pace, but it puts into perspective how good Zach is. And, for as much as we think highly of Coby, and we do, it's still not quite to that level. So I just want to see him continue to inch towards that, progress towards that, gobble up some more usage, be a little bit more of a bigger piece of the offensive pie, and then also do it more efficiently. Because I think that's really, as he gets a little bit older, now going to be in his 6th year in the league, that's where it's got to come from. So that's free throws, shooting threes at a higher level.
Right.
And then also, if you've got the ball in your hands, you got to be more of a facilitator as well. So he's improved in all those things, but I just want to see him do all of that more and all of that a little bit better.
I dig it. Yeah,
I do too.
I think there are a variety of ways that Coby can collectively, stats-wise, make that happen. Increasing his efficiency in just a little bit at the free throw. I mentioned he almost doubled his free throw attempt rate. Last season, it was a career high 0.215. Season before that, it was 0.118. Like, maybe can Coby get to the free throw line even a little bit more and continue to shoot it in the mid to high 80s percentile-wise?
Okay.
Can he continue to get to the rim 25% of his field goal attempts 0 to 3 feet last season. Can he increase maybe the efficiency on those attempts? And then, of course, can he, for the first time in his career, have that, I'm a 40% three-point shooter. Yeah. If he does 2 of those 3 things, I think that the true shooting percentage you're talking about, Goat, is very much within the realm of possibility.
So last year, DeRozan, 7.7 free throw attempts per game. Zach, obviously only 25 games played, but 4.1. Coby was third on the team at 3.3. That means that Coby had averaged less than half of what DeRozan had, and free throw attempts per game was one of the big factors for the Bulls in terms of generating efficient offense. How are they going to do that now without DeRozan? I think that's an area where Coby can really step up and carve out not only like more opportunity for himself, but that's how you get the efficiency. When you can get to the free throw line and generate easy points at the line, he's an 80+% free throw shooter. That's where you can really make some money. And that's kind of what Coby's at a point in his career now. Is he's 2 years left on his contract. He's got to establish himself as the franchise player moving forward if he wants to get the payday that I think he probably wants to get. So this is a big year for him, and I think it's the same with all these younger guys. Like Patrick Williams, for example, we've talked a ton about free throw attempts and creating efficient offense. That's how you do it. I think free throws are going to be a huge piece there.
You know what I like is within this discussion, it feels like we're just talking about putting the polish on something. You know what I mean? Just putting the finish on it. You know, like it's already there. It's already built. You know, we're just sanding it down and putting the finish on it. So, yeah, just a simple taking that next step that we know that you can take kind of thing, and not a hope and a dream like, please just do this and we will be better. It's like, no, bro, we know you could be that dude. So go ahead and just make that move, take that, and then let's continue on what we're doing. That's really cool.
I think those are all solid goals for Coby. I also think, the context of reminding people the best statistical seasons that Zach LaVine had, as you were doing, Goat, is important to remember when we're talking about what we might see next from Coby White. Yeah. And can he improve on the incredibly impressive season that he just had, his breakout year? Can he take it a step further? Because as good as he was last season, he was still a far cry away from the best statistical season Zach LaVine has had as a Bull.
Yeah, and Zach, the previous 5 seasons for Zach, it was 24.8 points, 24.4, 27.4, 25.5, 23.7. Those are his previous 5 years when he was playing his best basketball. And, I mean, that's over 5 points per game more than what Coby did in his best year last year. Zach, 19.5 points per game in his 25 games last year. Coby, 19.1. So, Zach, I think just people kind of forget that's part of this point. And then the other is, as much as Coby improved, I think he's still got room to grow.
I think so. Rob in the comments saying, I think Coby can follow the same blueprint Zach has had in his career trajectory. Eco's talking about Coby and Io starting the backcourt together. Rob also wondering about whether or not Coby can draw more fouls from the officials. What's Coby's hairstyle going to be? If he's rocking that fro out there, that fro draws fouls. Told you. Grab yourself this awesome ALLCITY Network Lager Sub-Zero shirt right here, because this guy right here draws fouls.
Ironically, my brother, before he left the house, he opened the door back up and he said, dude, I love this Coby White. I love this hoodie. I love it. He wears it all the time. He's like, I love it. It's so comfortable.
I think he was wearing it when he came and hung out at the studio towards the end of last season. Yeah, bro. And he was like, I wear it all the time.
Wear it all the time. Dog. He loves that hoodie. Make sure y'all get your T-shirts and your hoodies, man. You see it right there.
That's one. Right. Rob saying, difference is Coby's had better coaches and mentors now recently since AK took over, adding Peter Patton, etc. So I mean, we'll see what Coby can do to improve his game this season. The other thing that somebody was talking about Coby Io backcourt. Somebody else I saw earlier in the comments was talking about Giddey and how he factors into all of this. So yesterday we were talking Zach, today we're talking Coby, and then somebody in the comments said, I don't think AK made that Caruso for Giddey trade to bring him off the bench. I think Bulls fans are wondering right now what this Bulls starting 5 is going to be out of the gate for Billy Donovan. I think most people picture it as Coby, Zach, Giddey, Pat, Vooch, and then seeing what that looks like and maybe making adjustments from there.
Agreed.
As great of a bounce back year Io just had, we know that he is a flexible guy who can be comfortable in a variety of roles and can also excel coming off the bench in a bench role. He's been thrust back into the starting lineup at point over the last 3 years of his career out of necessity. No Zach, Lonzo's out, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not necessarily concerned quite yet. We haven't even reached training camp, but about Josh Giddey taking away from, as you were saying a minute ago, Dave, Coby White putting that polish on his game this season. Are you concerned about that at all?
No, Giddey is not a scorer. He has to have the ball for sure, but his first instinct is to pass it. And so Coby, as we know, is an incredible spot up guy when you give him the ball. So if Giddey is a guy that's just trying to get the ball, let's say get to the lane and have those guys collapse on him, I trust Giddey with his size and with his skill to find that open shooter out there. If I can trust DeMar to do that, I could damn sure trust Josh Giddey to do that as well. Now, I don't think everybody's going to always collapse on him because those are two different kind of guys out there when they're going to the lane. I don't know if you know this, but there's a difference between Josh Giddey and DeMar DeRozan when they're going inside to score. But a little bit, but that skill is still there. And when your skill is always to find your teammates, you will find a way to get it to those guys that are open and get those guys those kind of shots. So, no, I'm not worried about it. He wants to get his rebounds and he wants to run and get those assists. Maybe take a couple three-pointers because he mentioned that as well. Josh Giddey mentioned that he wanted to work on his three-point shooting and get that, up a little bit. But as far as just taking shots away and all those other things, I think he'll be passing that ball to Coby and trying to go get rebounds.
Yeah, you hit on exactly what I was going for in terms of the ability to draw to the ball and force the defense into rotation. That's what made Coby a lot of openings last year, was when DeRozan would get into the painted area towards the elbow and you have to send two. Now all of a sudden somebody's in rotation and that leaves Coby open, whether it's wide open for a spot up or now he's attacking a closeout and he can get into the lane. I think an area where Coby, could still continue to improve is his ability to generate help and to break down the defense and force, take over from DeMar in terms of forcing teams into help and then creating offense for others. I don't think that is a strength of Giddey's right now. Maybe they'll put him in the post and let him operate that way where he can just see over the top. Maybe they'll put him in snug pick and roll actions, which is where you have, a big or a guard coming down to screen for Giddey at the block, and then he comes over the curl and gets into the middle of the paint. But there's ways that you can be creative in terms of getting paint touches. I think that's what's going to be difficult for the Bulls this season. And it's why I think this year is actually going to be a little bit harder for Coby, because there isn't going to be that guaranteed ability for somebody else to draw help and create an advantage for him. And so I want to see if he can do that, if he can be the one that creates the advantage for somebody else. If he can start to do that, I think that's where you're talking about him getting to that all-star level, which I think is not too far away, but that's a big step to take. So that's what I want to see from Coby. And I do have some worry, not because I don't think he's capable, but just about the Bulls offense in general, being able to generate that help, being able to create easier offense. They were really good and they took a lot of pride in creating closeout opportunities last year.
Number one.
And I think that's going to be tough without DeRozan. So maybe it's playing through Vooch and bringing help towards him in the paint, but that's going to be a challenge for this team.
Yeah, and transition offense as well.
Yeah.
I expect that to be the fun, bad theme, transition.
Speaking of how, Giddey might blend into this Bulls starting five with Coby White, Chocolate Salty Bulls in the comments saying Giddey doesn't create much separation without those screens, and Eco saying Giddey works better with off-ball cutters like Modest and Big Dave.
Dalen Terry!
DT.
Oh.
Do Mexico cuts?
Oh. Don't get me excited, man.
All right. Well, go forth and prosper, Coby White. We look forward to watching you ball out again this season and see what you can do to bring that game to the next level. One of the things that I am genuinely looking forward to as we near the the depths of the offseason and looking at a new season.
Shout out Coby.
I got a lot of questions and concerns about a lot of things, but I have missed watching Coby White ball.
He's awesome, man. He's awesome.
All right. With our remaining time, let's shift gears and talk about Tibbs' ribs, a.k.a. the New York Knicks, and what they will look like this upcoming season. Our old rival back when the Knicks and Bulls were both good.
Yeah.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Those are fun.
I miss them.
We kicked their ass.
Yeah, we did. Poor Charles Smith. All right. So, as we did with the Celtics yesterday, we are moving through our Eastern Conference team season previews with the Knicks. Quick look at what the Knicks did last season, y'all. I mentioned it at the top. A 50-win season for them, 50-32 in the regular season, and then lost a heartbreaker of an Eastern Conference semifinal series to the Pacers in all 7 games.
Yeah.
where you see them efficiency-wise, offensive rating, 118.2 was good enough for 7th. Just squeaked inside the top 10 in the league in defense at 113.4. Their net rating of plus 4.8 was the 5th best mark in the league. And the place where they excelled the most in their offensive 4 factors, you see right there, best NBA team in offensive rebounding percentage at a staggering 29.4.
I mean, they were ridiculous on the offensive board. I mean, Hartenstein and Josh Hart were just huge for that, man.
So we can circle back to that because, as far as additions and subtractions this offseason, you just said the word Hartenstein.
Yes.
He is a casualty in free agency. He goes to OKC. Man, Thunder are stacked. It's not fair.
Brick house.
But so, I mean, what did you guys take away from that Knicks season before we get into their specific offseason moves? Were you surprised to see them one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe a little surprised.
Some of those teams you think coming in.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Philly.
Yeah. So I would say for that, maybe
Indy
a
and New
little
York.
surprised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With that, because I don't want to say they came out of nowhere. They clearly didn't. But I guess the radar of the NBA out there wasn't focused like strictly on the New York Knicks.
A Tibbs team that, in a maybe to some people boring way, wins significantly more regular season games than they lose regular season games.
Correct.
You know they're going to the playoffs. It's just how they'll fare when they get there.
Correct. And they got some good luck in the playoffs early and got some bad luck for themselves late, But they played so well, man. And Jalen Brunson, who I have a question for both of y'all about that later. But Jalen Brunson, I mean, my God, outstanding in those playoffs. I always said Tibbs is phenomenal with point guards. I don't care who you are.
Especially smaller point guards.
Man, phenomenal with them. And, I mean, you can throw Marco Bellinelli in. He turned him into a point guard, for God's sakes. And he was running point and doing a solid job. And then he said, I don't have a point guard. Fine. Joe Kim, know what you come do it. And I'll run it through you. Like, he's incredible at that, man. And I talk about it all the time because I marvel at it. But, man, Jalen has just been great. DiVincenzo was exactly what they kind of needed. I love the kind of camaraderie they're creating on their team.
Yeah.
They're trying to, take on the pulse of the city or the feel of the city like that. And, of course, the Knicks are going to get behind it just like Bulls fans, bro. They're going to get behind it, especially if they see any kind of winning happening. Oh, they're all showing up. John Starks rotting hell. But it was cool that a guy like Jalen Brunson, who pretty much bet on himself, just kind of saw him just go to another level as a basketball player. And now he's a star.
Yeah.
And that's cool to see because, I always like Jalen Brunson.
And as our in-house capologist, Mr. Goat, as we start to look at some of these specific moves they made in the offseason, and as Dave was speaking of the greatness of Jalen Brunson, what did you make of him taking that deal? 4 years, $156.5 million vet extension. And when that news broke, everybody said, wow. Brunson just voluntarily took a significant pay cut compared to the max that he was eligible to sign.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the pay cut ended up being, but I mean, just like
it was like well north of $50 million. It was like close to $100 million or something crazy.
It's like the ultimate leadership to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To take that kind of hit, understanding that, that allows you to bring in your pals, bring in a team of players that you feel like can win a championship, that you feel like are your friends, that you want to see them succeed. That allowed them to give OG Anunoby the max deal that he got. And we can talk about whether or not we think that was a good idea, but that's not happening if Jalen doesn't take that pay cut.
Yeah.
It allows them to now decide what to do with Julius Randle and not just lose him for nothing. They could turn that into a different player if they want. So, and to re-sign Mikal Bridges when that extension's up. So, they did a great job this summer. They definitely have questions still. I'm a huge Hartenstein guy. I think he's really, really talented, and that's going to be a big hit, not having that rim protection and playmaking out of the 5 position. But they now have built a team of defensive wings that can compete with the Celtics, and that's really the goal.
Tibbs. You mentioned the vibes. You mentioned the New York guys, the team building. So along with getting Brunson to stay on a team-friendly deal, obviously one of the biggest moves across the entire league was this huge Knicks-Nets trade, bringing in Mikal Bridges. Yeah. In case you forgot, the specifics of that trade, and my God, it just makes me as a Bulls fan sad when we continue to talk about Zach LaVine and his trade situation. Mikal Bridges and along with him, Keita Bates-Diop comes to the Knicks, and they send Brooklyn Bojan Bogdanovic, Shake Milton, 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first-round picks, one of which has, I believe, a top 4 protection on it. The other 4 unprotected firsts. And for shits and giggles, let's throw a 2028 first-round pick swap in there as well.
Toss it in.
Wow. I mean, that is a lot to give up if you're the Knicks.
Yeah.
So you better hope, okay, we got the whole Villanova crew now.
Yeah.
Sidebar, what's Archie up to? Throw him in there. What's up,
was
Jim?
on the team. He was on the team. Sales guy Jim, what's up, man? Sorry, you missed the ads. Sorry.
Oh, you missed
the
it,
ads.
man.
You missed them. And they were great. It was
a good circulation of ads today.
Yeah, man.
You
well
missed them.
done.
Like, this is clearly a we're going all in move.
Yeah.
You're giving up your first round pick every other year until like 2031, I think, and a swap. I mean, it's a big swing.
That's
to say Mikal Bridges, he's the missing piece.
Yeah.
Championship or bust for the New York Knicks.
Yeah. This is Tibbs all day. Like, he loves this. I don't have to worry about draft picks. I just got the players I want, and I got like 3 Luol Deng type players on my team.
Oh my God, 3 Luol Deng.
And one of them dudes ain't missed a game since
that's
high
a
school.
Tibbs wet dream.
Oh man, just looking at the knees like baby looking out the window, like Birdman looking out the window, dog. And like, can't wait. He cannot wait to play this dude 48 minutes. But
he's like not even going to be able to because he's got so many other good players.
This
like
is Tibbs. Tibbs will find a way.
They made like a Tibbs-proof roster. How do you play Jalen Brunson, obviously, at the point, and then you've got DiVincenzo, Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle at the 2 through 4. Like that.
You're assuming everybody's going to be healthy.
Yeah, well, that's
Tibbs.
That's
brother.
the other thing that they did was they gave themselves really good depth, and that's another thing that you really need. I mean, they have put on. This is it's just a different approach towards roster building that we haven't seen before.
Yeah,
it's like everybody gets 20 to 25 million, and not we give 2 or 3 max guys and then a bunch of veterans minimums. Like they've really spread the wealth on this roster in terms of construction, and now that gives you depth. But because of the fact that you're getting so much more than what you're paying for with Jalen Brunson, it allows you to really kind of overperform in your other spots.
Yeah, very true. Let me bring up this question I have. I have a question for you guys because you mentioned it. Yes, they're going all in. They're going championship or bust. Boston, we coming for you kind of thing. This is what it's built for. My question is this, and it's not, again, this is not a diss to Jalen Brunson at all. I'm just going through NBA history. But I'm trying to figure out those times where your best player is a 6'2" guard.
Yeah.
And the dude who is leading your team and running your team. So
Bulls figured that out in the 2011 conference
finals. Immediately. So you got Steph Curry, of course. You know what I mean? But this is the greatest shooter of all time.
Category of his own.
So other guys that I can think of is Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Again, out of this world, MVP.
Made 1 finals.
You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson. And then you got to go even further. You're going to Isaiah Thomas. And again,
you're skipping over guys like Aaron Brooks, John Lucas.
No. Oh, well, you know, if you feel they were number ones, Will, we can have that discussion later. But I'm saying, like, in this NBA now where they're like walking, you know what I'm saying, like pterodactyls and just monsters in this league, like Wembanyama.
And IT also had a borderline elite 2 guard right next to him, and Joe Dumars for most of that.
Great
and
defender.
then just the best defense in the league.
Correct. You know what I mean? So he definitely had that help. But Isaiah Thomas is still Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And but I'm saying, like, can Brunson break that kind of mold? Do you all think that Brunson is the MVP type of player who can, no matter what, I can take this team and carry them to the finals?
Well, I think that's why you build the roster you build. You have Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, 2 of the best wing defenders in the league, Hart, DiVincenzo. Like, that's an infrastructure You got a elite rim protector back there in Mitchell Robinson if he can remain healthy.
Mitchell Robinson.
That's the kind of defensive infrastructure that you need if you want to have a small guard like that. So I think they are thinking ahead and saying, okay, what are our weaknesses going to be? How do we mask that? Because Jalen's our guy. How do we build around him? So I actually think we'll see, but like that's kind of exactly what they're trying to do.
True. And what I was looking at, and you're not wrong, what I was looking at is and I'm thinking Boston specifically, when you put Brown or you put Tatum on Brunson, who's the other guy on your team that you're like, oh, he's going to go get us 30? He's going to be, because that was the Bulls' issue and they were wonderfully built for, that kind of team and that kind of roster for Derrick Rose. But who was that other dude that was going to get you 30?
I think that's the big question. Obviously, you've got Randall there, and he's been an all-NBA player.
Hart did have some monster offensive games, including their playoff run.
A lot of that's like in transition, though. DiVincenzo had some really good games where he's just getting threes.
He just gets hot. Yeah,
I mean, he had one of like the best volume three-point shooting seasons in a really long time. But it's going to be by committee. And then I think the other thing is like, well, it's on the other end too. Like if you can now put OG on Tatum and Mikal Bridges on Brown, how our team's going to score against you? Yeah. So I think they're kind of banking on their defense and then getting enough from all these other pieces. And, OG's always been saying like he wants to step into a bigger offensive role. Is there an opportunity for him to do that? Maybe you turn Julius Randle into, a more complementary, a piece that fits a little bit easier in terms of offensive complement, but can also take some of that burden off. Maybe it's a center, who knows? But I think they have the flexibility now to be able to go out and evaluate the team, look at their weaknesses, and then adjust accordingly. Whereas a lot of teams kind of lock themselves into something and then they have to deal with the consequences regardless of what they may be.
Yeah.
Is it a bet on Mikal Bridges taking another step forward as an on-ball creator?
Yeah, and he's done it too. I mean, he
averaged over
26
points a game in the season that he was traded just on the Nets. So in that half season, just on the Nets, 26 points a game. On solid numbers, and he's a guy that for a long time people have been, I think, identified him as a guy that could take another step forward.
It's like a bunch of guys of like, okay, now's your chance to kind of step into more.
Right.
So prove it.
Yeah.
And we interest you in Patrick Williams.
Oh my God. No, I think, you raise a good point, Joe, about whether or not Bridges can take another step as a creator, because when we're talking about the Knicks, as Tibbs, the defense is going to be there. I agree with you, they can even match up well with Boston, hypothetically speaking, even with the loss of Hartenstein. I am worried about them losing him from a screen setting standpoint on the offensive end. Because, look, you're talking about, can a 6'2" guard be your best player offensively by far? Yeah. And then what are the pieces around that? How do they work? Because you're going to get your Randall possessions in the post. Sure. Sometimes he's on and he has great nights, and then sometimes he's off and has awful nights with his ISO possessions. I think if they struggle in the screen game a little bit, because Brunson was punching teams that went under screens all season long and through their playoff run, and then also is a small enough guard where he needs at least a decent part of a screen. Because and then once he goes around that screen or uses it whichever way he sees best with his court vision, then he can use his craftiness and his handles and finish in a variety of ways or distribute. Yeah. But he can't do that if he doesn't have quality screening.
True.
So that's what I'm curious about when you're talking about this offense that's it's a little ho-hum if you're talking about the Knicks half-court offense. Yeah. Brunson and his brilliance, and then is Randall feeling like playing tonight or not?
Yeah, and to go back even to those other guards that I named, Steph's got the shot. There's nothing going with that. Derrick Rose is probably the most athletic little man we've ever seen. Allen Iverson, another incredibly athletic dude. I'm naming these guys because they didn't need to rely on those screens so constantly because they could create that shot for themselves like that. Brunson is crafty. You know what I mean? He's incredibly crafty. He knows how to put his body into yours, draw contact, get to the line, and then, maybe hit you with the step back three in your eye. He's very crafty and smart player. I'm just wondering who else is going to be that for him. And again, it's a prove-it year for the Knicks. They're going to be proving it in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because Bridges is going to get that opportunity. As you mentioned, Randall will get that opportunity. I think you bring up a great point about the screens because Mr. Robinson is going to get hurt.
I was going to say, he brought up Mitchell and staying healthy. I'm assuming not.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I forget, what is their other center? Is it Sims?
Jericho Sims.
Thank you. Is Sims going to be, good enough to get out there and be that guy as well? He also gets injured also as well. So We'll see kind of see how it goes for them, man. But they're good. I'm not saying they're not good. They can rot in hell, but they're good.
I mean, that's as a Bulls fan, it's like I hate that the first two teams we've done are Boston and New York going down the Eastern Conference last year.
Fun, man.
We'll wrap up in just a few minutes after a few more thoughts. But real quick, reminder, if you haven't already, sign up to become a CHGO diehard. It's a perfect time of year to do it because the perks keep rolling in, including discounts on all of our CHGO Bears tailgates. Week 1's was a total blast. All three of us were there hanging out with our fellow Bulls fans, our CHGO crew. And those CHGO Bears tailgates, we got buckets on buckets of Coors Light, Miller Lite, Leinenkugel, Blue Moon, all the Molson Coors beers that you can drink, plus delicious barbecue food truck, all you can eat. It's an incredible deal, and it's an even better deal when you become a diehard and get the discount. Yeah. Just like all of our fun takeovers that we'll do again this upcoming season for the Bulls, for the Blackhawks, that we have done all baseball season long for the Cubs and Sox. Discounts on discounts, 20% off every time you shop at that All-City Network merch locker. Free t-shirt when you sign up. Pick one. Claws Up just dropped.
Let's go.
And then, of course, the best of the best as far as the coverage of our beloved Chicago teams from credentialed reporters like that guy right there, Willie Gottlieb, Diehards Only. And, of course, access to the Diehards Only for the Diehards Discord. One channel for each team. Sign up today. Pennies a day for an annual membership. Join the cool kids. Become a CHGO diehard. All right, gentlemen.
Can I say one thing about Brunson?
Please do, Joe.
And it's very like there's no analytics involved in this, but when I was working at camp last summer, we were hosting basketball camp after the summer ended, and we actually had the privilege of hosting a bunch of coaches from the Chicago area, and one of the coaches was the Stevenson High School coach who coached Jalen Brunson. He's like a Hall of Fame Illinois basketball coach, and he said something to me that was so interesting, which was that he said the intangibles of Jalen are just so off the charts that he's won everywhere he's went, and that he has no doubt that eventually he will lead his team to the NBA Finals. And there's just something about that, and the fact that he's continued to defy expectations, continued to get better and level up, and the fact that he, I think we all have doubts, is he a top 5 player in the league? No, but he took a pay cut that's going to give his team some flexibility, and I just after that, my thought on it has always just been like, you know what? I'm not going to doubt him because he's just a guy that seems like he's built different in a way like that. And so, I'm as a Bulls fan hoping that doesn't happen. But I think
no, he's a special player, bro.
What a special player in person to be able to build your organization around. Truly,
no, without a doubt. Like I was saying, like he should have been in the MVP conversation last year with how he played. Like he's special. Like there's no denying it.
So just to wrap up, you were talking about their depth earlier. A couple things we did not make note of yet. They did re-sign Precious Achiuwa to come back on I believe a 1-year deal. I think it was like 1 year 6. And I mean, I'm sorry guys for burying the lead. Their other free agent acquisition this summer.
Campaign.
Bulls Legend campaign. 1-year deal. Campaign.
Why
New
did
York
you say
Knicks.
so, man?
I'm sorry, I buried the lead.
Fine now.
NBA champions now. You didn't tell me they got campaign in the house.
In the house?
Will he or will he not be on a boot scooter at training camp? We'll see.
No, that was back in the days. That's only for us. That was only for us.
The campaign experiment is over. Shout out Kendall Gill.
Classic.
So just real quick, guys, before we wrap up, simple yes or no.
Okay.
Assuming both teams are healthy, generally healthy, have the moves that the Knicks made this offseason, primarily bringing in Mikal Bridges, retaining Brunson on his deal, key departure being Isaiah Hartenstein. Are they good enough to take 4 in a best-of-7 against the Boston Celtics?
No.
I don't think so, but I think it would probably go 6 or 7.
I agree with that 100%.
I think it'd be an incredible great series.
I would watch that series. Joe, what do you think?
I agree, and I think you guys are both right, but I'm like, it's close, and one injury changes everything, so you never know what's going to
We know whose side that's going to be on.
Well, yeah. If campaign gets hurt, the Knicks don't have a prayer.
Well, fifth.
Oh, my goodness. All right, that's it. We are out of time for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Sign up to become a CHGO diehard. We'll see you at the next hang, which I believe week 3, we got Joe's on Week Street watch party, CHGO Bears. That'll be fun. Come on down.
Come on in.
I believe some of the newest members of our CHGO Bears crew are going to be there, too.
Oh, that's good.
So that's fun.
One more Happy birthday, Miss Melissa.
Yes,
baby.
happy birthday, Miss
Happy
Melissa.
birthday to you.
One of the Queens of Bulls Twitter. One of the Queens of Bulls
Happy
fandom.
birthday. Many, many more.
Indeed,
You're
indeed.
awesome.
And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place with a fresh episode. Hit the like button on your way out. Do it for Troll Joe. Sarah brought Troll Joe out yesterday. First time in a while. I missed seeing Troll Joe.
She put him up.
Will is at Will_Gottlieb. There it is. Big Dave is at Bow, BNWL Sports, Bulls_Peck. Our pal producer, Young Spathis, is at Joey Spathis. We're CHGO_Bulls. Have a great Wednesday night. Get those bets in on Circa. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you, Rebbe. Good.
Peace.